set off fireworks outside a veteran's home, so I gave him a war. He couldn't escape. Some people love fireworks. I used to be one of them. Until the night I watched 3 war veterans, grown men with trembling hands and haunted eyes, collapse in terror because some moron thought Independence Day came early. His name was Derek, which is fitting because he had the energy of a vape pen and a DUI. He lived 3 blocks from the veteran's home where my grandfather, Hank, stayed. Hank was a tank commander in Desert Storm. He also cried when doors slammed too hard. And Derek, he decided it would be hilarious to bring a trunk full of illegal fireworks and set them off directly across the street at 2 a.m. because, quote, they wouldn't hear them anyway. I guess PTSD is just a punchline now. I was visiting Hank that weekend. I watched the first explosion light a hall like a war zone. Hank fell off his bed and started crawling under the desk. 2 other residents began screaming. One soiled himself. Nurses scrambled. It was chaos. Real chaos. The kind that breaks something invisible inside people. I ran outside, saw Derek shirtless in board shorts, lighting a Roman candle like a toddler with a flamethrower. He laughed when I yelled at him. Laughed. Relax, dude, he said. They fought in a war. They should be used to it. He didn't get arrested. Just a $100 fine for disturbing the peace. So I decided to disturb his. Not for a night, not for a week. I was going to give him his own war. The kind that drips in, slow and unrelenting, until he forgot what silence ever felt like. Step 1. Intel. I learned everything about Derek's routine. He worked at a tire shop, had Tuesdays off, lived with his girlfriend Kayla, who he cheated on frequently, and loved sleeping in on Sundays. Too bad for him. I bought a Bluetooth speaker with military-grade sound effects. Real artillery blasts. I slipped it under his porch and scheduled it to go off at random times. Low enough not to trigger cops, but deep enough to rattle windows. Every time it exploded, it triggered his motion lights. He told neighbors his house was haunted. Next, psychological warfare. I printed small black and white flyers of helicopters and distant explosions. Nothing graphic, just enough to hint. I slid them under his door, in his mailbox, between his windshield wipers, sometimes with dates, sometimes with notes like, "Are you ready for deployment?" He started looking over his shoulder. Then came the sound tapes. I recorded ambient tracks, distant screaming, marching boots, and one whispering loop that just said, "They're coming, Derek, they're coming." I slid one into a thrift store cassette player and mailed it anonymously. He didn't have a cassette player? Oh, I included one. Labeled it, "Do not listen if you value peace." Kayla moved out 2 weeks later. Apparently Derek was waking up screaming, sweating, claiming someone was watching him from the woods behind his house. I paid 2 kids $10 each to stand back there in army surplus gear. Just silhouettes, just once. He filed a report. Nothing came of it. The final phase? Memory. I spray painted 3 words on the curb across from his house in faded white stencil. Derek, remember Fallujah? He'd never been to Fallujah. That didn't matter. It was the doubt that cracked him. He stopped going to work, covered his windows, installed cameras. One day he drove around the block 7 times before pulling into his driveway. He looked like a man who hadn't slept in a month and didn't trust air. Eventually, he posted in the neighborhood group chat, "Anyone else hearing things at night? I think I'm being targeted." No one replied. I did leave one final gift, a box on his porch wrapped in camouflage paper. Inside was a pair of earplugs, a thank you card that read, "For your service to chaos." And at the bottom, "From a soldier's grandson." The next week, he put the house up for sale. And the veterans, they're fine. The home installed soundproof panels, and I started volunteering twice a month, reading, fixing broken things, listening. And Derek, he left the city. Last I heard, he moved somewhere rural, quiet. But every July, I send him a postcard. It's always blank except for a date, a rank, and the word boom. He set off